Welcome to Spectrum News at 12, coming to you live from Oyo, the Akwa Ibom state capital. Let's take a look at the top stories. President Tinubu orders fresh push to crush food prices. Governor Umoyeno expresses delight over exploit of Akwa Ibom indigents and diaspora. Plus, United Arab Emirates summons Israeli envoy over deadly strike on Qatar. Stay tuned for details of the stories and more in just a moment. Good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us on the news within the week. My name is Ofonono Joseph. We begin the news within the week from the nation's leader, President Bola Tinubu, who ordered a federal committee to move swiftly on measures to further reduce food prices across the country. The Minister of State for Agriculture and Food Security, Senator Aliyu Sabi Abdullahi, disclosed this on Wednesday in Abuja. According to him, the directive focuses on ensuring safe passage of farm produce across transport routes to cut logistics costs. Nigeria, Africa's most populous nation, has faced worsening food insecurity since the removal of fuel subsidy. High transport costs and insecurity on major highways disrupted the movement of goods. Despite government interventions, food remains largely unaffordable for millions. In the meantime, Vice President Kashim Shettima during the week directed the Presidential Food Systems Coordinating Unit, PFSCU, to expedite action on the disbursement of the federal government's 250 billion naira credit support for smallholder farmers at a single-digit interest rate. Shettima, who gave the directive during the 6th meeting of the PFSCU Steering Committee held in Abuja, directed for an implementation roadmap for the disbursement of the funds, stating that it is necessary to avoid further delays and ensure that the target beneficiaries of the initiative were reached. The Vice President commended President Bola Tinubu for granting the PFSCU the political backing to act boldly on priority reforms, notably the fertilizer raw material liberalization and the Presidential Seed Fund. Shettima also called for improved collaboration among stakeholders to revitalize the seed sector and expand the strategic grain reserve through the ongoing reform initiative of the federal government. Away from that, Nigeria and Angola in the course of the week revived the Nigeria-Angola Bilateral Joint Economic Commission after 24 years at a 3-day fifth meeting of both government on Thursday in Luanda. Both nations reached agreement on the development of sister cities and bilateral cooperation, according to a statement by Daniel Alabra, Chief Press Secretary to the Governor of Bayelsa State, Senator Doyedere. Nigeria also facilitated a landmark twinning agreement on socio-economic and cultural development between Bayelsa State and Namibe, a province of Angola, and midwifed another economic cooperation deal between Nasarawa State and the Angolan province of Bengal. Nigeria and Angola, two of Africa's largest oil-producing nations, have long shared historical, political, and economic ties dating back to Angola's independence in 1975. In a separate development, the federal government within the week announced that implementation of the 2025 national budget will commence by the end of September as the execution of the 2024 budget winds down. The disclosure, which was made by the Director General (DG) of the Budget Office of the Federation, Tanimu Yakubu, at the third quarter Ministerial Stakeholders and Citizens Engagement Forum in Abuja, noted that the 54.99 trillion naira 2025 budget is designed to stimulate economic growth, enhance public services, and drive investment in key sectors, stressing that effective implementation and prudent fiscal management will be critical to its success. He also emphasized the importance of citizen involvement, describing Nigerians as the ultimate owners of public resources. He listed initiatives such as translating budget documents into local languages, simplifying budget content, and empowering communities to hold government accountable. The DG outlined strategies to support Nigeria's ambition of becoming a $1 trillion economy by 2030, including ward-based development programs across 8,809 wards, tax reforms, stronger fiscal discipline, and innovation partnerships. Meanwhile, the federal government during the week inaugurated the governing councils and principal officers of 4 newly established federal universities. The Education Minister Tunji Alausa, who inaugurated the governing councils, reaffirmed the commitment of the government to expanding access to quality higher education. The universities are Federal University of Agriculture and Technology, Okeo, Oyo State, and Federal University of Health, Sciences and Technology, Safe, Zamfara State, among others. Alausa described the establishment of the universities as a strategic intervention by President Bola Tinubu's administration. The minister explained that the move was aimed at addressing pressing national challenges such as food security, public health, climate change, renewable energy, and technological innovation. In another development, Senator Natasha, who represents Kogi Central in the courts of the week, warned that she will take legal action against the clerk to the National Assembly, CNA, Kamarudin Ogunlana, if she is not allowed to resume her legislative duties by Monday, September 15, 2025. The warning was contained in a letter dated September 10 and signed by her lawyer, Michael Numa, son. Numa said the CNA's alleged refusal to obey an existing court judgment was against the law and the Code of Conduct for Public Officers. He added that the proposed legal steps could include contempt charges, disciplinary action, and holding the CNA responsible for instigating a breach of the peace. This development follows an earlier letter from the acting clerk to the National Assembly, Yahaya Danzare, which informed Akpotu-Duagan that she could not resume because the matter of her suspension was still before the court. Talking electoral matters now, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, within the week said that 14 associations have been cleared to proceed to the next stage of their applications to be registered as political parties in Nigeria. The National Commissioner and Chairman, Information and Voter Education Committee, Sam Olumekun, who disclosed this after the Commission's meeting, said that 171 applications were received. He explained that each request was assessed on the basis of its prima facie compliance with the provisions of Section 222 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended, Section 79, subsection 1, 2, and 4 of the Electoral Act 2022, and Clause 2, Sub 1 and Sub 2 of the Commission's regulations and Guidelines for Political Parties 2022. The associations cleared are the African Transformation Party (ATP), All Democratic Alliance (ADA), Advanced Nigeria Congress (ANC), Abundant Social Party (ASP), African Alliance Party (AAP), Citizens Democratic Alliance (CDA), and the Democratic Leadership Alliance (DLA). Others are the Grassroots Initiative Party (GRIP), Green Future Party (GFP), Liberation People's Party (LPP), National Democratic Party (NDP), National Reform Party (NRP), Patriotic People's Alliance (PPA), and People's Freedom Party (PFP). Away from that, the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission (ICPC) during the week tracked at least 1,440 government-funded projects across northern Nigeria worth more than 271 billion naira as part of its constituency and executive project tracking initiative. The ICPC chairman, Musa Aliyu San, who made this known at a press briefing in Kano, revealed that 767 of the projects were located in the northwest, amounting to 112 billion naira, while 673 projects in the northeast accounted for a higher value of 158 billion naira. The anti-graft agency further disclosed that 7.26 billion naira in cash was recovered from the northwest along with $1.06 million in foreign currency. It noted that in the northeast, 43.33 million naira was retrieved. Additionally, 14 buildings, 25 plots of land, and 3 farmlands were seized in the northwest during the operation. Back here, the British Deputy High Commissioner, Lagos, Johnny Baxter, in the course of the week, applauded the Akwa Ibom State Governor, Pastor Omoeno, for his remarkable, visionary, and impactful leadership as anchored by the Arise agenda. Speaking during a courtesy visit on Governor Eno at Government House, Uyo, Baxter said he was really impressed by the friendly ambience of the state, adding that the infrastructure, especially road network, were pointers to quality leadership. He particularly expressed satisfaction with the exceptional service delivery by the state-owned airline, Ibom Air, and described it as one of the best airlines in the part of the world. He further said that Ibom Air was a major avenue to boost the rich tourism and hospitality potentials of the state, adding that the state also has a huge potential in agriculture given its green and lush environment. Meanwhile, receiving Baxter and his team, Governor Eno commended the delegation, acknowledging Nigeria's age-long historical relationship with the United Kingdom and its diverse humanitarian programs. He disclosed that the state government had in recent past sponsored students from the state for strategic educational tour to the United Kingdom to enrich their knowledge and expose them to a different learning environment. According to Governor Eno, the idea was to make them see the limitless possibilities in life, to underscore the fact that places of their birth cannot limit them if they are focused on learning and are disciplined enough. The governor revealed that the state is developing its economic zones, including the Liberty Oil and Gas Free Trade Zones, Ibom Industrial City, and Itam Industrial Park in Oyo. Governor Eno further highlighted projects planned to be kick-started by the state to include True Crop Revolution, Ikorikbene International Market, and Rural Electrification Project, amongst others. Government House correspondent Genoa reports that Baxter, who was impressed by the governor's achievement within 2 years, as captured by a brief documentary presentation, thereafter took a tour of some facilities of the state government, especially the Arise Resort, and expressed satisfaction with the project transformed from a 70-hectare erosion ravine disaster. In the meantime, Akwa Ibom State Governor, Pastor Omayano, within the week, expressed delight over the exploit of Akwa Ibom indigents in their different fields of endeavor across the world. Governor Eno registered his delight while interacting with Government House correspondents at the Victor Atta International Airport upon his return from the United Kingdom, where he met with British-based boxer of Akwa Ibom heritage, Moses Itauma, and Mayor of Islington, Jason Utrofon. Governor Eno stated that in the course of his trip, he met with the two illustrious sons of the state and expressed the good wishes of Akwa Ibom people and their spectacular exploits. He described them as role models whose successes are worthy of emulation by other Akwa Ibom youths. The governor encouraged the youth to imbibe the true Akwa Ibom spirit and to desist from harboring a sense of entitlement, but to uphold the virtue of hard work, dedication, sacrifice and commitment in their pursuit of excellence. Meanwhile, the governor also explained that the Memorandum of Understanding MOU he earlier signed with the Rural Electrification Agency RIE regarding the state's rural electrification project would guarantee 24-hour power supply in the state. Government House correspondent Jane Owa reports that Governor Eno, who signed the Memorandum of Understanding during the Rural Electrification Roundtable organized by RIE, which he attended in FCT Abuja shortly after his arrival from the UK, added that the State Electricity Power Summit, scheduled for September 18 and 19 to be held in collaboration with the RIE, would bring power to underserved communities which are not linked to the national grid. Still to come in the news, CBN unveils framework for new payment system. Stay tuned for details of the stories and more in just a moment. Welcome back. Thank you so much for staying with us. Now we continue with the rest of our news stories. Now to Africa, where South Sudan First Vice President Riek Machar within the week faced charges of treason and other serious crimes as fears grew that the East African country could be edging toward a return to civil war. Local justice authorities said Machar has been under house arrest since March after the transitional government he is a part of accused him of subversive activities against President Salva Kiir. In addition to treason, Machar and 7 others face charges of murder, conspiracy, terrorism, destruction of public property and military assets, and crimes against humanity. The charges stem from a violent incident in March when a militia known as the White Army overran a garrison of government troops, killing its commanding officer and others. The Justice Ministry said in a statement that the attack in Nasser, Upper Nile State, was influenced by Machar and others via coordinated military and political structures. Still in Africa, Burkina Faso during the week announced it is removing visa fees from all African travelers to boost the movement of people and goods. SANA clarified that visitors must still submit an online visa application for approval. The West African nation joined Ghana, Rwanda and Kenya in easing entry for African visitors. Citizens of West African countries already enjoy visa-free travel to Burkina Faso, though this could change as the country recently withdrew from the regional bloc ECOWAS along with Mali and Niger, I beg your pardon. A statement from the junta's information service said the measure reflects Burkina Faso's commitment to Pan-Africanism and will help promote tourism and Burkinabe culture and improve Burkina Faso's visibility abroad. Captain Traoré, who came to power in a 2022 coup, has positioned himself as a Pan-Africanist figure, but faces criticism over his authoritarian rule and failure to stem a worsening Islamist insurgency. On the foreign scene, United Arab Emirates in the course of the week said it summoned Israel's deputy ambassador in a formal rebuke of his country's deadly attack against Hamas leaders in the Gulf neighbor Qatar. The UAE, along with Bahrain, was the first Gulf country to normalize ties with Israel in 2020 and has been a frequent critic of its actions since the start of the Gaza war. It issued sharp condemnations of Tuesday's deadly strike on Qatar. Friday's rare summoning was the strongest in a chorus of condemnations as anger boils in the Gulf over Israel's strike on a region long shielded from Middle Eastern conflicts. Elsewhere, Russia says it downed 221 Ukrainian drones launched on its territory overnight in one of the largest aerial assaults since May. The Defense Ministry said more than half of the drones were intercepted over the Bryansk and Smolensk regions, southwest of Moscow, where Lukoil facilities were reportedly targeted. Authorities in the Leningrad region and 28 drones were brought down, and that a fire had broken out on a vessel in the Baltic port of Primorsk, Russia's largest oil terminal. They added that the blaze was extinguished without casualties or leaks. Meanwhile, officials said 2 civilians were killed in Ukraine's Sumy region when a Russian glide bomb struck a village near the border. In the meantime, several NATO members are reportedly sending troops, artillery, and air defense systems to secure its eastern flank after what Poland called an unprecedented Russian drone incursion into its airspace. Reports say 3 Russian drones were shot down after crossing into Polish airspace. Other drones crashed to the ground and were later found across eastern Poland. Poland had requested a UN Security Council session about the incident, which will take place today. In response to the drone incursion, the Netherlands and the Czech Republic said they would send defenses to Poland, while Lithuania would receive a German brigade and get a warning of Russian attacks on Ukraine that could cross over. Still on the foreign scene, Brazil's Supreme Court during the week sentenced firebrand ex-president Jair Bolsonaro to 27 years in prison for coup plotting at the end of a landmark trial that divided the nation and drew U.S. fury. The sentence could see the 70-year-old far-right leader spend the rest of his days in jail. Judges voted 4-1 to convict Bolsonaro of plotting to overthrow Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva following his October 2022 election defeat by the left-winger. Prosecutors said the plan failed only due to a lack of support from military top brass. Bolsonaro's defense team called the sentence incredibly excessive and announced he would appeal, including at the international level. Washington was quick to respond to the conviction of the man dubbed the Trump of the tropics on his election in 2019. Secretary of State Marco Rubio said the United States will respond accordingly to what he called a politically motivated witch hunt. Brazil's foreign ministry hit back, saying it would not be intimidated by Rubio's threats. On our business news, the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, within the week, begun the development of a new strategic framework for the country's payment ecosystem with the launch of the Nigeria Payment System Vision 2028, PSV 2028. This sets the stage for a more inclusive, innovative, and globally competitive digital financial system. At the inaugural meeting of the PSV 2028 Projects Committee held in Lagos, September 9, 2025, the Director of the Payment System Policy Department, PSPD, Musa Jimo, described the initiative as a national assignment with the potential to transform how individuals, businesses, and governments interact within the financial ecosystem. Reflecting on the journey from the early reforms of 2006 through the milestones of PSV 2020 and PSV 2025, Jimo said that the new vision would build on past achievements to deepen financial inclusion, improve infrastructure, interoperability, and promote innovation across Nigeria's financial services sector. Elsewhere, the Nigeria Union of Petroleum and Natural Gas Workers, NUPENG, in the course of the week, alleged that the management of the Dangote refinery had reneged on the resolutions reached. In a statement jointly signed by its President and General Secretary Williams Akporega and Afolabi Olawale, respectively, NUPENG warned that it might resume the suspended industrial action following a breach of the agreement reached between Dangote Refinery, the federal government, and all truck drivers who are members of NUPENG PTD. The union claimed that at a meeting convened by the Department of State Services and attended by the Minister of Finance, Wale Edun, and representatives of the Nigeria Labour Congress, NLC, the management of Dangote Refinery and Petrochemicals agreed to the unionization of its employees. He further stated that, notwithstanding the resolution reached and signed at the office of the DSS with 3 on the right of unionization of the workers, truck drivers who were NUPENG PTD members for several years were ordered to remove the union stickers from their trucks yesterday. Still in business, the Dangote refinery will start the free fuel distribution scheme on Monday. The Dangote Group spokesman, Anthony Chijina, said in a statement that the scheme will start with the Southwest, the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, Kwara, Delta, Rivers, and Edo states. He added that the refinery also dropped petrol retail prices to 841 naira per litre in Lagos in the Southwest and 851 naira per litre in Abuja, Edo, Kwara, Rivers, and Delta states. Recall that the free fuel distribution scheme was suspended to have started in August but was delayed due to logistics challenges in China. Still to come in the news. Flying Eagles defender Mike Gary suffers injury out of Under-20 World Cup. Stay tuned for details of these stories and more in a jiffy. Welcome back. Now we conclude the rest of our news stories. In health, the Akwa Ibom State chapter of the Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors (NAD) has announced its full participation in the 5-day warning strike declared by the association's national leadership. The strike, which commenced on Friday, is aimed at drawing the federal government's attention to what NAD described as the persistent neglect of issues affecting resident doctors across the country. Speaking with Spectrum TV at the University of Rio Teaching Hospital, the NAD president, Akwa Ibom State, Promise Jacob, said the strike became inevitable following the government's failure to address long-standing demands, including improved welfare packages, immediate payment of salary arrears, and allowance and provision of medical equipment to public hospitals. He noted that the strike will continue after 5 days unless meaningful engagement with the government is initiated and concrete steps are taken to meet their demands. Elsewhere, the Lagos State Governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, during the week, urged residents to take ownership of malaria prevention by eliminating mosquito breeding sites, testing before treatment, and trusting the health system. Sanwo-Olu reaffirmed his administration's commitment to reducing malaria prevalence below 1% as the state intensifies efforts to achieve full malaria elimination. Speaking at the mid-term review meeting of the Impacts Project and the Pathway to Malaria Pre-Elimination and Digitization Program, the governor stressed the importance of accountability, data transparency, and community ownership in the ongoing campaign. He noted that community participation, alongside collaboration between the government and the private sector, would ensure that malaria ceases to be a major public health problem in Lagos. Still in health, the Adamawa State government in the course of the week confirmed the death of 8 residents following the outbreak of a flesh-eating ulcer, an affliction suspected to be Buruli ulcer. Commissioner for Health and Human Services Felix Tangwami said that the 8 people died in Malabo, in Fufore local government area, where they were inflicted with the Buruli ulcer. Tangwami, who spoke with newsmen in Yola, said the development was deeply concerning, but disclosed that samples from the affected patients have already been collected and dispatched to the National Reference Laboratory for further testing and confirmation of the disease. The commissioner said while awaiting the laboratory results, health officials have placed Malabo on close monitoring to prevent spread. Now to sports, where Nigeria's Flying Eagles will be without key defender Adamu Maigari at the 2025 FIFA Under-20 World Cup. Maigari sustained an injury in training and will not recover in time for the start of the competition. The right back played a key role for the Flying Eagles at the 2025 Africa Under-20 Cup of Nations in Egypt, where the team finished in 3rd place. The youngster featured in all 6 of the Flying Eagles games in Egypt. He also won the Man of the Match award once during the tournament. Meanwhile, the Flying Eagles will travel to Chile today for their final preparations ahead of the Under-20 World Cup. Head coach Aliyu Zubairu is expected to release his final squad for the biennial tournament on September 19. In the meantime, the Athletics Federation of Nigeria, AFN, were put under the spotlight on Friday after Toby Amoson uploaded a clip on her social media page. Amoson recorded a video of the kit she received from the AFN ahead of the 2025 World Athletics Championship in Tokyo, Japan. The world record holder and reigning 100 meters hurdles champion described the choice of kits as inferior and inadequate. Still in sports, Chelsea have released their squad for the 2025-2026 Premier League season. The list has the likes of Raheem Sterling and Axel Disasi, who had been earlier removed from the first team. They were named in the squad despite being part of Enzo Maresca's bomb squad. Recall that all 20 clubs in the English top flight submitted their final 25-man squads for the 2025-2026 season on Friday. On our entertainment news, Nigerian celebrity chef Hilda Bassi yesterday successfully completed her highly anticipated attempt for the largest pot of jollof rice in Victoria Island, Lagos. The Akwa Ibom-born culinary star revealed that the massive dish was prepared with 4,000 kilograms of basmati rice, 500 cartons of tomato concentrate, 750 kilograms of oil, and 600 kilograms of onions, all cooked in a custom-made steel pot measuring 6 meters in diameter. She revealed that the initial plan was to cook 250 bags of rice, but later on adjusted the figure to 200 bags to avoid exceeding the 20,000 kilogram weight limit of the measuring equipment. Still on the entertainment, Tomeka Thiam, the wife of famous Senegalese-American singer Akon, has filed for divorce a few days before their 29th marriage anniversary. Tomeka, in a court document filed on Thursday in Fulton County, Georgia, is seeking dissolution of the marriage and joint legal custody of their child, with visitation rights granted to Akon. Tomeka, who further requested spousal support from the singer, also urged the court to deny Akon requests for any. She is ending her marriage with Akon on the ground of irreconcilable differences. Recall that Tomeka got married to Akon in September 1996 and shared a 17-year-old daughter with the singer. And that's all we have for you at this time. Do ensure to follow us on all our social media handles and subscribe to our YouTube channel, all of which you can find on our website, spectrumtvlive.ng. You have been watching Spectrum News at 12. Thank you so much for staying with us. My name is Ofonono Joseph. Good afternoon and Happy New Week.